Most of you have come here to hear some absolutely stalwart speakers to understand what really future holds for us. Before I get there, just a quick context as to why we call, what is HR Anexi, why we're calling the summit Futurescope. And we've been doing summits for many years now. HR Anexi, 16-year-old enterprise, Indian, homegrown, made in India consulting firm. About those who know us, we are based out of Bombay, and then we're spread across Delhi, Bangalore, and Pune. Just a quick brief. We know that, not that I want to, this is a room full of intellectuals, a lot of business leaders. I really don't want to call people HR leaders because, the time has changed. It is not CHROs and business leaders, it is business leaders. It doesn't matter what function you had. If we just look back quickly, from the time who's ever the oldest in this room, we were born, we know the world is constantly spinning, changing, and we've heard enough this change is the only constant. Right. As we started last year, our grand summit was called the Great Rethink because we knew that one must, because it obviously got inspired from the Great Resignation, whatever it meant to most of us here in this room. But we knew that we had to rethink the world, rethink the norms, rethink the business processes, rethink how we will build our future. Particularly, I hear a lot of people talking about next generation. Right. From the Great Rethink, this year we're talking about Futurescope. And why Futurescope? Very quickly. If you look at this last 20 years, the 21st century, we've gone through all kinds of cycles, starting from the great the Y2K failure or whatever, Y2K bust, to the dot-com bubble bust in 2000, right? To the 2008 depression. We all lived that great depression of 2008 post-Lehman crisis. And I'm sure I would have missed a few more ups and downs in between, but that's part of life. We know that we've gone through all of that. As we move forward, right? In the next 5 years or 10 years, because we've seen every 2-3 years the business cycle up and down, some crisis, the market moves up, and then something happens, the market moves up, and something happens, and so forth. We just don't know what really future holds for us. And therefore, we thought that it'll be important that we call our this summit Futurescope, because this is essentially a 2-day summit talking about what really future holds. Can we determine, can we figure out what's really happening? So because of what's happening what's going to happen in the next 5-10 years, unpredictable, we put this Futurescope together, 4 sessions. Our session 1 is about sustainable growth. Right? How do we make sure that despite uncertainties, despite the downturn, despite whatever issue that we face, right, whether it's COVID or a crisis or economic crisis, right, are we really ready? I mean, how do we really build the muscle, which is the people? And we have 4 distinguished speakers to talk about that, and I'll introduce them in a while. The next session is about the AI movement. Right? We know that AI is here for good. There is no point in talking about AI is good or bad. Is it an opportunity or a threat? I mean, we have passed that almost. Right? It's about how do we really tame the AI wave. And we have absolutely phenomenal speakers on AI today afternoon. I'm hoping that most of you stay back to hear this session. One of the really fine speakers, Anand Mahurkar, who's flying in from Boston for this session today afternoon, one of the AI experts in the world, who's been a personal coach to Tim Cook as well. From the engagement to the well-being and holistic well-being, our third session today, which is more than a session, I think it's more about recognizing companies who are practicing well-being. We have that in the afternoon session today, wherein we had about 109 companies participate in our well-being award, which we constituted last year. So we have our top 20 today coming here, and the top 10 will make a presentation on what kind of practices they have in well-being, because well-being is no more one size fits all. It has become very individualized, very personalized. It's not even different generations, different well-being. It's probably very, as I said, very, very individualistic. I know there are some family business owners here. One of the issues that family businesses go through is about transition. It's about how to really build the organization with the next workforce, whether it's family generation, next generation, or the new generation which is coming into family businesses. A lot of family businesses have people who've been there for 20, 25, 30 years, and even the next generation of those senior executives come in and work for those companies. How do you really transition from the traditional or an old way of working to a new way of working? That session at building the next workforce with the next workforce. So these are 4 sessions which will probably help give some perspective on what future holds for us, whether it's AI, whether it's how do you build sustainable growth, whether well-being, what's happening, and what will happen in the next few years. So this is how the entire summit has been constituted.